This episode of Beyond the Backyard is brought to you by Ultimate Archery and Outdoors, Ultimate Deer Products, Head to Tracks Incorporated, Red Life Food Plot Seed Company, Tacticam, Jay's Sporting Goods, and by Oz Cut Broadheads. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Backyard, Michigan's headquarters for hunting, fishing, and everything outdoors in this great state. I'm your host, Steve Kredovic, and today we're jumping into the most heated topics in Michigan deer hunting, and that is the great Doe Harvest Debate. Are we shooting too many? Are we not shooting enough? Or is this one of those depends on where you hunt kind of deals? So we're going to be breaking it all down, from the DNR data to what's happening in real deer camps across the state. And I know some of you already have your opinions locked and loaded, so grab your coffee or beer, eat some venison jerky, and let's hash out this issue. All right, so let's start with the basics. The Michigan DNR has been pushing doe harvest for years now, especially in southern and mid-Michigan where deer numbers are higher. They say it's good for balancing the herd, reducing crop damage, and improving habitat health. But drive a couple hours north and you'll hear the exact opposite. Guys in the UP in northern Michigan say, man, I haven't seen a decent doe in years, or we're already thin. So which is it? Well, it's both. Michigan is a massive state with wildly different habitat zones. Well, what's true in southern Michigan bean fields is totally different in a cedar swamp north of Gaylord. So when someone says we're shooting too many does, my first question to that person is, where are you? Because just because you got no does in your area, you're seeing maybe none to one doe a hunt, or maybe you're getting skunked 3 hunts in a row. Your neighbor down the road might have a field full of 20 or 30 does out there eating. So it really does depend on area to area to make a judgment and make an opinion based on this topic. But let's first start with the pro-harvest crowd. You know, the folks saying, we actually need to shoot more does. These hunters and a lot of biologists argue that in many areas, especially farm country, deer numbers are just too high. We've got does living in herds of 20, eating soybeans like candy, causing car accidents, and spreading, they say, CWD. By taking out more does, you balance the buck to doe ratio, so rut activity actually ramps up. By taking out more does, you balance buck to doe ratio, so rut activity ramps up. Prevent overbrowsing and starvation in harsh winters, and you also help the habitat recover. Some say Michigan's been too gentle with does over the years. And look, if you've hunted those ag zones down around Jackson or Calhoun County, Berry County, you know what they mean. You can't drive 5 miles without seeing a dozen deer in the field. The DNR's logic is simple. Fewer does equals better herd health and bigger bucks. And honestly, it's hard to argue that in places where the deer numbers are off the charts, that this isn't the right way of thinking. Because there are some areas, obviously, down around the farm zones where you probably do have too many does that need to be shot. Now let's flip it. If you head north, and I'm talking northern lower Alpena, Oscoda, and definitely the UP, the tune quickly changes. Guys are saying they're seeing fewer deer every year. Coyotes, wolves, harsh winters are hammering fallen survival rates, and yet the DNR still pushes doe tags. Hunters up there will flat out tell you, we don't have the deer to be shooting does. And they do have a point. When you combine the threat of predators, you have the winter kill, and then on top of that, you throw in liberal antlerless permits, it can take years for the local herd to recover. Plus, a lot of people up north hunt for meat, and when they finally see a doe, it's hard to pass her up, but then that adds to the cycle. So it's definitely a tough balance. You can't manage Michigan's deer herd like it's one big flat county, because it's not. It's 80 plus counties with different climates, different predators, food sources. And like I said, it can go not so much county by county, it can go by mile. I mean, like I said, my neighbor might have 20 deer in his field every night, and over by me, I might see 2 deer a night at best. So it changes from area to area. Let's be honest, hunters' opinions on this usually come down to what they're actually seeing from the stand. If a guy sees 40 deer in a field every night, he's going to be obviously all for more doe being harvested in the state of Michigan. If another guy sat for 30 hours in the UP and all he's seeing is a little dinky spike in a squirrel, he's probably saying the DNR are out of their minds for wanting to shoot more does. But honestly, both guys are right in this scenario from where they sit. But that's the beauty and frustration of Michigan hunting. It's so diverse that one policy never fits all when it comes to this state. Now throw in social media, and man, I promise you, you'll see comments like, if you're still shooting does in my county, you're the problem. Or, you're not shooting does, you're the problem. You're never going to win. And honestly, from someone that's been running a highly active Facebook page in this state for 7 years now, I see all kinds of comments. Like I said, you see people that are for hunts, people that are against hunts. You're never going to get everybody in this state. I don't care. It comes down even weapon choices, the bucks they shoot. There's always two opinions, and usually both opinions are very strong in their way of thinking. And obviously, everybody thinks they're the expert. Like I said, it's just opinions. But a lot of times, people truly believe their opinion is fact. But this debate really does matter, because the way we manage does now affects buck quality, herd health, and hunting opportunities for years to come. Here's some data, though, that might actually surprise you. The DNR estimates that Michigan hunters harvest roughly 250 to 300,000 does per year, depending on the season. That's nearly half the annual deer harvest. In southern counties, that's sustainable. In the UP, not even close. They don't have the does to be taking them out one after another. But I would just say the ideal, I quote, buck to doe ratio is around 1 to 2 or maybe 1 to 3. But in some farm counties, it's closer to about 1 to 6 or even 1 to 8. And that's why those ruts feel so long and sluggish. Too many does, not enough competition. In the north, it's the opposite. Bucks are chasing every doe that exists because there aren't that many left. So again, it's not about numbers statewide, it's about local balance. So the question comes down to this. So what can actually be done about this topic? Here are a few ideas floating around hunter groups and conservation organizations. Regionalized doe quotas. Base antlerless tags strictly on localized herd data and not broad zones. Number 2 is predator management. Reopen stronger wolf and coyote control in northern zones. Number 3, reward system for data sharing. Hunters who report harvest accurately help the DNR set better numbers. Number 4, encourage meat donations. Hunters who shoot multiple does statewide could donate venison to local food banks. And maybe fix the biggest problem is just getting hunters to pay attention to the local herd and not a statewide trend. So here's what I want to hear from you. Are we shooting too many does where we hunt? Or do you think Michigan still has too many deer overall? Should the DNR make regional quotas tighter? Go to the comments below. Let me know what you think about this topic. Like I said, do you think we're shooting too many does in the state of Michigan? Or is it good the way it is? Should we shoot less does? What are you seeing in your area when you're in the stand, according to what they're saying out there on the data with the DNR? End of the day, the Doe Harvest debate isn't about who's right. It's about balance. We all want healthy deer herds. We all want strong fawns. We want big bucks running around the woods. Whether that means pulling the trigger on a doe or letting her walk depends on where you hunt and what your herd needs in that general area. But one thing's for sure, the conversation matters. It's okay to have conversations. It's okay to have debates. It's okay to have different opinions. I think a lot of times in this world, we truly believe that our opinion is the only one, and that if you don't believe what I believe, that you're wrong. And that's where we need to come together on this and really work together to come up with one general solution. But thanks for tuning in to Beyond the Backyard. Don't forget to hit that sub button, hit that notification bell. Like I said, I want to hear you in the comments what you think about this topic. But thanks for tuning in Beyond the Backyard. Don't forget to hit that sub button, hit that notification bell. Let us know in the comments what you think about this topic. As always, I'm Steve Krevig, reminding you to hunt smart, hunt ethical, and always get out there and explore beyond the backyard.